Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 555. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
KC. How are we, pal?
Happy Hall of Fame induction day.
Good group too. Good solid group. Good, like we got a throwback in Dave Parker that like checks the box for that generation. And we are full swing in our generation, which sucks.
Yeah, dude. We're getting old. I was sitting at church today, and our pastor made a reference to Jose Canseco, and he goes, how many people in here know who Jose Canseco is? And like nobody said anything. And yeah, I'm just over here raising my hand. I'm like, I know who Jose Canseco is. And I'm like, that's not good. I mean, that's really before even our generation, really. But I'm like, yikes, if I'm the only guy in here that knows Jose Canseco, I feel like it's only going to get worse.
It is. It sure is. But hey, that's okay. You know, that's okay.
I asked you this recently while we're on the topic of Hall of Fame. Who would be, because you said you haven't been, right, to Cooperstown?
I haven't.
Who would be the soonest?
Like this question. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
Well, because like,
what did you think I was going to ask?
Who would be the guy to like get you to go? And it would have been Jeter if things would have aligned properly. But
no, I get it. God, we were in Boston when Cal was getting inducted, and I was like, we're so close, but we couldn't go. But who from this point forward, who would be the soonest guy? I mean, I'm guessing Judge, but is there somebody sooner that would entice you to make your first trip to Cooperstown?
It's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. Like I'm trying to take off the Yankee lens a little bit, and think of like some other names that I've just fully enjoyed watching. I mean, it's really hard to say. Because you look at like some of the young guys right now, and like we're nowhere near like a Bobby Witt Jr. We're 20 years at least, from that happening, and who knows where life is at that point. Judge might make sense just because he's already in his 30s. I think it'd be really cool if somehow Judge and Harper ended up in the same class, and like Mike Trout, like if those three could end up being. That'd be a sick class.
That would be sick.
But all things have to align on like them retiring at the same time. And obviously you're talking at least two of those three names being first ballot. I think Judge being like a shoe-in first ballot is still up for argument. But yeah, dude, that would be sick. I would say even take Judge out of that. I think if Bryce Harper and Mike Trout were in the same class, I think you and I would have to really consider just doing that. I mean, there's two all-time greats.
Yeah. I like that answer. That's a good answer.
Same age, same, you know what I mean? Like where they're about the same place in their career, where it's like you can kind of see it. You can see that they're on the back half of their playing career.
Don't say that. Stop. Don't say it. But yeah, when our sweet young prince makes it to baseball immortality, I will be there. I will be there.
Because that's literally our age. Like that is literally like we were the same age. We were in high school seeing that dude on Sports Illustrated. And it was like, it just is crazy to see that. Yeah. I think it's a fair answer.
I like that out. I'm glad you said somebody other than Judge. I'm glad you're able to set that aside.
I mean, again, like we don't know. Like I don't know if he's going to be a absolutely first ballot Hall of Famer. Like he's if he keeps on this trajectory and is able to like keep it going, yeah. But like right now, it's like the numbers are kind of low, and like the window of success is really short just because of how long it took him to get up and kind of crack the big leagues.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get on that later.
Yeah, let's talk current events here. Let's talk what's happening in Major League Baseball right now. And you're talking about the Hall of Fame. It's very possible that this particular name could be walking through those gates. I know it's early, but from what we've seen thus far in such a small sample, this guy's a lock at this point. Extrapolate what we've seen thus far out. I mean, we're talking a lock for the Hall of Fame. Nick Kurtz. The Nick Kurtz game, we'll call it. And this isn't exaggeration, this isn't hyperbole. One of the greatest offensive performances in a single game we've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Game has ever seen. Forget like us in our generation, like ever.
Yeah. I don't think people understand that a 4-homer game is more rare than a perfect game. And I get that there's like this buildup of tension that goes throughout 9 innings of a perfect game where like you get to that point in the 7th and you're like on the edge of your seat with every single pitch after. And it's not the same as like a quick at bat that's just one and done. I like that it wasn't done in Sacramento. I feel like there would have been an asterisk next to it if it was done in a minor league ballpark. You know, it's cool.
I'm with you.
It would have been super cool. This is in a big league ballpark. And the fact that he was like a foot away from having 5.
Bro,
that's double.
That's not getting talked about enough. Like this close to 5 homer. That'd be the first ever, correct?
Yeah, I think
first ever.
Yeah.
By a rookie.
Yeah.
He's essentially been up for a cup of coffee, and we're talking about a guy who was inches away. That's why I love baseball, man. You see, like you wake up, you either flip the game on the TV or you make your way down to the ballpark. There is a chance any game that you watch that you are going to see something that you've never seen before. And this game has been around for 100+ years. And we're talking about something that was so close to happening that has never been done. And to reiterate, it was done by a rookie, inches away from a 5-homer game. Even though he wasn't able to get that 5th, 6 for 6 on the day, which in and of itself, forget the homers, 6 hits in a game is a rare accomplishment. And the fact that he was able to do, like with his profile, you don't necessarily think of Nick Kurtz maybe as a guy who's a guy that's capable of doing that on a given night. You're thinking, well, he's going to be maybe like
swing and miss in his game a little bit, you know?
Right. But the fact that he was just dialed in that night, 6 for 6, 4 homers, total 19 total bases,
insane,
18 total bases.
What was I didn't look up the fantasy points.
What 19 total bases. It was like I think it was
40-point game.
It was like a 35 point night. Insane,
dude. That's awesome. Speaking of fantasy, do you want to just come out and say that?
What?
That you had him rostered at one point? Is that right?
Yeah. Hey, that's on me, man. You know, I had Nick Kurtz rostered. I jumped on it, and like I said, I'm pretty sure the day that he broke out was also the day that I dropped him. So that's fun. But we're talking about sample size with this kid. It was his 66th game in the big leagues. Nobody else had done what he did in fewer than 425 games.
That's crazy, man.
It's crazy. It is crazy. And it like I said, one of the coolest elements of this, and our guy Dallas Braden, commentator for the A's, he had tweeted it out, like I think later that night or the next day, how obviously he's been a part of history on a baseball field, but he even said, I saw what I saw, and I don't think I'll see anything like it ever again. And I'm
It's
like,
true, man. Again, we
is
talked about it, how rare it is. This was the 20th time. It's been done 20 times in our game. That's it.
and it was his 66th game. It blows my mind. Again, going back to what I was saying, how you can just wake up and you've got this rookie who, again, has basically been up for a cup of coffee and goes out and does this. And now, like the amount of attention that I think he garnered for his, we'll call it, household name ability, if you want to lump that into a word, he did wonders for that with just this single game, because there was so many people talking about it. And I can always sort of tell, as someone who again does social media for a living, and obviously, does our social for this, I'm able a lot of times to gauge interest on a given player or a topic at any moment in time based on, how well a certain post or video does on this thing. And the last I checked, the post on Facebook where I was like, the Nick Kurtz game, and it was a screenshot of like Passan's tweet, talking about, the history of it. Last I checked, it had been seen by like 7 million people. And I'm like, that's
crazy.
A singular post of ours. Like, forget about that. Like, think about all the other news making its rounds on this kid. I'm genuinely very excited for him, his future, and what this career could potentially look like, because this isn't just some kid that stumbled into this accomplishment. Like like we were talking about, you go back to what his profile is, you go back to the attention that he had already garnered before he even made it to the big leagues. This kid is proving to you right now, granted, after a little bit of a slow start, he's proving to you that every ounce of attention he received prior to this moment was worth it. And I think it's only going to get more impressive as we move along.
Dude, 100%. 100%. I like that. Talking about a big lefty, sick nickname, Big Amish. Love the nickname.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super cool.
That's top tier.
A big lefty to go oppo taco for most of these, but to have like one nuke to right field where it was like, not all of these were cheapies to the Crawford seats. These are the Crawford box. This was like a tater to right field. That just everything went right, man. Everything felt right about this. And the last one being, I remember watching it where there's like Astros fans in the Crawford box that's like blown away. Like they're like cheering to that point. Like when you see an opposing team, and it's kind of, again, that perfect game effect where like if it's in a different stadium, you even have those other fans be like, I'm here for baseball history now. Like that's what I'm rooting for. You can kind of like, you see these moments where like you put your fandom aside and you just put your, that hat on and say, I'm a baseball guy, and be like, check out the shop. To where you're like, this is what I'm here for. Like there's so few moments in baseball, in sports, that has you rooting for the game over your fandom. And it's genuinely sick to see those things. Really, really cool. What an exciting day. And again, we've talked about this, the A's being somewhere. And I feel like this chapter of like just getting out of Oakland and getting out of that Coliseum. And I know that like the argument's still there of, look, like it's still the same owner. It's still the same nonsense. You're still going to have, hurdles that you're going to need to overcome to like officially establish yourself. But these names, man, like we've seen these crazy plays from Denzel Clark in center, and just incredible numbers from Mason Miller in the bullpen last year. Like these names are starting to just get a little bit more recognized, a little bit more household. There is this group that's starting to come together, and I don't think Brent Rooker is likely going to be there much longer. Shoot, he might even be shipped out before this deadline. But there's names that are bringing you to the A's. I don't think I could name anybody worthwhile with the White Sox. Now that Brian McMahon is gone, which we'll get into later, I don't know how many names I can name with the Rockies that are like, this makes me want to come to the ballpark and lock in when I see them on the bump or at the plate. The A's are starting to accumulate more and more names like that.
I mean, those names that you list off, I just feel like would have to have amounted to more than, I think, 17 games under 500 right now. Like, what a disappointing campaign thus far. And
it's
what
weird.
I can imagine will only continue to be.
I agree. I do agree. But again, like, let's get them out of Sacramento and let's let this new ballpark get built. And now you're going to see that core that's like in their prime. You're going to give Nick Kurtz 4 years and then see how good he is at that point. And now you're in this brand new ballpark, and you might truly have like an MVP candidate on your hand in a new ballpark, in a new city. You know what I mean? Like there's enough that's churning here that I think there's positivity coming towards the A's.
You've heard about guys on the current A's team talk about how it affects their psyche, like as a big league baseball player. It's like you feel like you're almost coming out of a lower class when you have to, do what you do every day in an environment such as that. So I would have to imagine, like, once you can finally get your identity back, like as a big league player, like you're a big league player, there's no doubt. But like once you can surround yourself with an environment that supports that a little more, like the other 29 teams, I can only imagine that a team that, again, as we approach the beginning of August, and they're, I think, 17 under 500, I don't think that's going to be, they may not be, a runaway for the division, but I don't think the narrative is going to be the same once we finally make the shift. And going back to who we talked about at the beginning of this topic, Nick Kurtz, like that's going to be a guy, if he's around long-term, that I think is going to play a central role in that.
Yeah. And how cool is it to have like a core that is likely going to be in the prime saying this is the stadium that they built. This is you know what I mean? Like, and again, talking about that environment, like you go back to having a clubhouse, not having to walk through the outfield to get to the dugout, like having tunnels back there, being dropped off, having your own parking lot. Like these types of things are just, you would think would be the norm, but for the current state of the A's, it's not. And you'll see what that turns into. I think there's a lot coming, man.
I'm with Luis Severino on this. Like, I know people are looking at this like, oh, he's just whining. Like, no, I'm with you, man. I totally get the splits. I'm with you. I feel for you. Yeah. Big Luis Severino guy.
Yeah.
This one right here. I'm also a
We'll see.
Big Nick Kurtz guy.
Yeah.
And last
big
thing
Amish.
I'll say on this, big Amish. Last thing I'll say, speaking to the title of this episode, Nick Kurtz is the hottest hitter on the planet. I pulled it up over the last month. This isn't like the last week, the last 2 weeks, even the last month. He's hitting 400. He's hitting 400 with 12 homers, 31 RBIs, and I gotta confirm the OPS here. And an OPS of 1452 over the last month. This dude is the real deal. Speaking of deals, switch gears here, talk trade deadline. Josh Naylor being acquired by the Seattle Mariners Thursday. So this was the day after. This was the day after we recorded last, I believe, right? We recorded last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. We're up for one here. I had Red Sox. You had Brewers.
You had Red Sox. Spot. Yeah.
Go for one.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's all right. You got the next guy, I think, that we're gonna talk. But Josh Naylor to the Mariners. I think this was while we were both wrong in our predictions for Josh Naylor, I think this was one of the most frequented locations for Josh Naylor in terms of, predictions elsewhere around the baseball community. So not too much of a surprise here. I think this was an addition that the Mariners needed to make to help out their offense. But again, like we talked about, their offense has been a little surprising. For at least the last few years, that's been the biggest hang up with this team. Is like you've got arms, you've got guys that can get you, deep in the games to give you a chance. But if you can't score runs, it doesn't matter. And it seems as though the guys that they've brought in, the guys even in house, even Julio Rodriguez has turned it around as of the last week or maybe even two. But
he looks like he made some adjustments at the break, which is cool.
Yeah. So, bring in a guy like Josh Naylor, give you a little bit of that edge, a little bit of that attitude. And, I think this could do wonders for a team that's trying to reclaim what they lost earlier this year. So big.
I like that it was a gettable move. I like that they didn't sit too late in this deadline process and have to compete with too many other teams. On like waiting until Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday kind of thing. They just went and got him. And it was like, it's a gettable thing. It's a rental. You're not fully committed to this name long term, but it is something that can immediately help your team, give that lineup depth, give some protection to Cal Raleigh. Like, it just checks a lot of boxes. I think he's a gamer. We've seen him in big moments in the postseason. Just kind of locks in. He's definitely a very serious guy. He's become more and more serious, especially over these last like 2 seasons, where you're just like, you don't see him get overly riled up unless it's a big moment. So there's like this strange balance where he's not like this goofy, funny, going to be the light of the clubhouse kind of guy. He's here to game, and then he's going to show up in certain moments. So I like what they're doing, man. The Mariners need some postseason baseball. Like they really do. And so I hope they're not done with moves. I hope this is just the first of a couple more, but yeah, I like it.
To your point about big moments, if there's, the Mariners have to be on a very short list in terms of fan bases responding to big moments. Like that place comes unglued. I mean, granted, the big moments have been few and far between with the postseason drop, but like when they've turned things on, when they have capitalized on those big moments, that place comes unglued. So I think if he can be a central part of those, if they're able to make a push here down the stretch, I think that match is gonna mesh very well.
I'm really curious if they're still in the hunt for Geno Suarez. I haven't heard how this move affected that, because we've heard their name being in on him. But imagine that, dude. Like, imagine if they were to go get that, and now you're talking about Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, Cal Raleigh, Josh Naylor, Geno Suarez. Like, that is the lineup depth that is absolutely terrifying to match with a really good rotation and a good back end bullpen too. That's a complete team. So I'd love to see it. I'd love to see that.
Honestly, the piece to all of this is a guy we've already talked about. I would be so in on the Mariners making a late push if we can see Julio Rodriguez do what he's done this last week.
Yeah.
On a more consistent basis, because I can't say that he's the straw that stirs the drink. I think there's other guys in that lineup that have proven that's the case elsewhere. But if he can be one of the straws that stirs the drink, that team becomes a lot more dangerous, because again, it goes back to an offense that has already surprised maybe even themselves, like certainly surprised the rest of baseball, but maybe they're performing higher than even the expectations they had for themselves. Yeah. And then what that pitching is going to do. That team, I would say, is going to be a World Series contender, but could be destined to making a little bit more noise in the postseason than maybe we've seen in recent history. So that'll be interesting. But good addition for the Mariners. The Yankees have acquired Ryan McMahon and I believe last night, Ahmed Rosario.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts.
I mentioned this on our podcast. I think I also mentioned it on shout out our guy Henry and Pete doing it for their Phillies podcast. But I bounced over there to do a little preview for this series.
Yeah, a little plug for Henry and Pete, Beyond the Bank. If you're interested in Phillies talk, go check them out. They got a good product going on over there. Love those guys.
The Yankees don't need offense. They didn't need offensive help. Now, again, this is my discussion pre whatever's happening to Judge, which we'll get into here in a minute. But they needed to solidify their defense, man. And it's been real shaky, really bad. We saw it on the that's perfect example. Exactly what they have been. That needed to happen. And Ryan McMahon, Gold Glover at third. Incredible play immediately in his first game. And you kind of take what you get with the stick. Like, I'm not worried about, like, he can hit 7, 8, 9 and hit 230, 240, and that's fine. But that short porch in right field, he may run into some. You never know what the uptick is going to be from somebody leaving the Rockies to go immediately being slapped into a contender. And there was like numbers eerily similar between him and DJ LeMahieu. Like very similar numbers of where they were at production wise. And we saw what DJ did his first couple years in the Yankee uniform too. So best case scenario, we get that. But you have a guy that, again, Cashman likes to go and get controllable guys. He didn't love Reynolds, so he didn't love the price tag that was attached to a Gino Suarez, and again, a rental. And again, they didn't need offense. They needed an upgrade defensively. So they went and got that. Ahmed Rosario, I don't think moves the needle as much for me, but is a very solid piece, can play almost anywhere on the field. Can start giving Anthony Volpe days off at shortstop, which is very much needed. And yeah, dude, another one. So I think this definitely kind of kicks Oswald Peraza out of the mix and starts to just give some depth on the bench, some right-handed stick that hits lefties pretty well, which was also needed. So I like the moves, man. It's not sexy, but like this is what hopefully starts to get things turned around, even though it's been a miserable showing against the Phillies this weekend. I'm in a dark place.
When can I put you on the spot here? When is the last time? And I'm not. This isn't a bit. I'm not like trying to lean into anything, but like when is the last time the Yankees brought in a guy via trade where you talk about like sexy moves, like I'm thinking,
when was the last sexy one?
No, not even the name, like the sexiness of the name, but like performance. Like when's the last time the Yankees brought in a guy via trade where they didn't sort of kind of get forgotten about, where it's like, well, this guy, the Yankees were justified in bringing this guy over from wherever they brought him in from, because I mean, look at what he was doing over there. But I feel like for a lot of the guys that the Yankees bring in, they come over here and then they sort of kind of, get lost in the limelight a little bit, or they shuffle to more of a platoon role, or they shuffle to more of a depth piece or something like that. When's the last time? And a former Yankee, a guy that I think of, like CC Sabathia, when he gets dealt to Milwaukee, like you knew you were
getting a top tier starter.
You knew who you were getting, and he lived up to it. And that, like, that's kind of the guy that I'm thinking of. When is the last time the Yankees brought in a guy like that?
Well, I mean, I think the right button was pressed by bringing in Devin Williams. I think that was a smart move. Like, it all on paper, that should have been a no-brainer. And then all of a sudden it kind of turns into this, like, I think they're maybe not evaluating these guys correctly on if they can handle New York.
Right.
Right.
And that's why I'm asking, because like I don't know what it is about the Yankees, but it's like
There's
these guys
something off. There's something off right now.
Yeah, the second these guys put the pinstripes on something, it's like the Space Jam, the Monstars thing.
Yeah,
like the
dude.
second they put the pinstripes on, something happens.
There's something off. There's been something off with their moves for the last few years. Like going back before that, as via trade, not signing, I'd probably say Stanton, which is a while ago. Stanton to me has, and I don't think Stanton gets enough credit for how he's handled like the media and like the pressure and like he's hurt all the time. He does have really rough stretches, but he's incredible in the postseason. He's lived up to big moments. I think he's absolutely delivered being a Yankee, but he's always been criticized and he always handles it really, really well.
Yeah.
And owns up to it, has accountability with it. I would say that's the last time they really hit on a trade. And the Devin Williams one is still kind of up for discussion. And again, he's said to be a free agent this offseason. So
why am I blanking? That the Stanton was a trade as opposed to a signing?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Yep.
That was the whole argument of, Jeter being in Miami and like
right,
collusion kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of shipping him out for a bag of chips.
Dude, I mean, we still got a little ways to go, but we're coming up on a decade since that, by the way.
Yeah.
December of 2017. Crazy.
Yeah. It's embarrassing.
Anywho's, yeah, so the Yankees with a couple moves thus far. We'll see what else they've got up their sleeve. Randall Grichuk heading to the Royals. I don't know. I don't have really much to add on this particular move. The Royals are confusing
Adam
me a little
Frazier
bit.
from, I think that was like one of the first moves anyone did, right?
Yeah, Adam Frazier as well. Seems like a lateral move, if we're being honest. I don't really know.
I think everyone's a little confused. I mean, they're
adding some depth, I guess.
They're 4.5 back in the wild card.
I'm not out on the Royals, but I just wonder, like, if the Royals are behind closed doors out on themselves. You know what I mean? Like, because there's no way that you saw this year going the way that it's gone to this point.
Of course not. But why are they buying right now?
That's what I'm saying. You've kind of had to blow up, your whiteboard plans that you probably had. You've probably had in place since February, January, where it's like, okay, we're anticipating being at this point in the season once we approach the deadline, and that it almost certainly has not matched what they came into the season hoping would happen. So you're kind of having to work on the fly here if you're the Royals, where it's like, okay, we're kind of in this tricky position where it's like people are chalking us up as maybe light sellers, or some even have the expectation that we should be heavy sellers because of how lackluster or like just unserious baseball we've been playing. So I don't know. The Royals are in a tricky spot. And going back to what I said, I'm not out on the Royals yet.
I kind of am.
Well, I mean, with the way that, the Tigers, we'll get into the Tigers, but
they're 5-5 in the last 10. They're 3 games under 500. They're 8.5 back in the division. They're 4.5 back in the wild card at the time of this recording. I'm not saying 4.5 is outlandish to come back from in the wild card scheme of things, but like scheme of things, that's not a phrase. Stan, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
scheme of things in the scheme.
Yep.
I just don't see them better than. I mean, you look at who's above them. I don't see them better than the Yankees, the Mariners, the Red Sox. I don't see them better than the Rangers, the Rays. I think they're comparable to the Guardians. I don't see them being able to climb that many teams to fight for a spot. I think you're in this position to sell on a Seth Lugo have the conversation of selling for the right offer on Pasquantino.
Bubic is in the mix as well.
Is in there. I mean, Jonathan India has not lived up to what you brought him in for, and provides, I think, positional depth and value to other teams. Like I think there's offers to be had for him. You can sell those things and also kind of just still kind of turn a corner and say, here's the new chapter that we're rolling into. I just don't understand why you're bringing in guys that are like you're forced to give ABs to. Like you're forcing yourself to give ABs to these guys unless you move some of these other names. What's the point? For what?
It's hard to say.
Why give up prospects for that? You know? No disrespect to those guys, but like, we know what Randall Grichuk is. We know what Adam Frazier is. They're not something that is an immediate need for the Royals. Just doesn't make sense.
Lateral move.
Flip them? I don't know. Maybe for the first time ever, we just see guys that like, hey, don't even show up to the stadium, by the way, because we're going to ship you out of here again. I don't know. I mean, we never see that, but it's just like I'm confused with the Royals. That's all.
An AL Central counterpart to the Royals, the Detroit Tigers. We need to have a discussion about the Detroit Tigers. What is happening in the Motor City right now, Nate? They have lost 12 of their last 13.
It's baseball, Susan. It's
over the last
man.
Over that span. Over that span of 13 games, they've been outscored 89-33. Over that 13 game span, they have a team OPS of 569, which is the worst in baseball over that span. Even worse than worse than baseball. So obviously worse than everybody, but notably worse than the Pirates, the Nationals, the Astros are actually in that mix as well over that span. The Mets, Dodgers, Rays, Red Sox, Giants, Rockies. Team ERA also worst in baseball over that span, 6.83, worse than the Rockies, famously known for their high ERAs, worse than them right now. So doing it or not doing it, I should say, on either side of the ball, vibes are low. I saw a tweet the other day that sort of, I think summarized what most Tigers fans are feeling, where it's like you play up until this point about 90% of the best baseball you've seen in Detroit in some time, and now you act as though you've never played baseball before, and that you have zero interest in making it to the postseason. It's like that's the brand of baseball they're playing right now. So
yeah,
like we just talked recently about how the Dodgers were going through a similar skid. But like with the Tigers, why now? I understand that every team, you're not immune to going through a skid or even a lengthy skid like they're on right now. Again, 12 out of the last 13. No team is immune to that. But I think there are certain teams that are built to maybe be a little more skid proof, if you will. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what holes the Tigers have that are so, large that would allow something like this to happen.
Yeah. I don't know either, because like they haven't been holes so far. So it's kind of strange, but it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, no disrespect to these names, but like Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, like we've kind of known who they are to this point in their career, and like they had somewhat of like a resurgence and still are having a good year, but maybe there's just a little bit of some coming back down to earth that's involved there. I think I saw that. Well, I think I activated him. Let me double check just before I speak here. I think they activated Kerry Carpenter today. So there's a little bit of some outfield depth that's coming back there. I think this is strangely good timing because you hate to see a team that's going into the deadline that just says, we're good. I believe in this group. I feel like no matter how successful you have a season you're having, like you almost want your team to say, hey, let's still make sure, we're plugging holes here at the deadline and doing the right moves. And I hope this brings them to a little bit of a realization to say, hey, like every team has holes. Let's just make sure we take care of those at the deadline and not flounder here entirely. So it's like,
great point.
It's almost like a good timing to have a little bit of a scuffle because it's like a realistic, let's come back down to earth and make sure that we solve this issue quickly.
It's a great point.
But the good news is that they have a massive lead in the Central and they stacked up a ton of wins and that like
huge.
You don't have to panic here at the deadline. You're not desperation mode to hold on to this lead. You have a good lead. Let's just not, give up the farm to get this done.
It's a great point, Nate.
Thanks, man.
It's a great point. I know you don't want to talk about it, but we have to. Aaron Judge hitting the shelf with a flexor strain in his right elbow. This is a theme that's become all too common, my friend, with your beloved Yankees and just a lack of awareness around what's happening, what needs to be done when it comes to the health of their players. I don't know, injuries happen. I'm not naive to that, but this is something that you've brought up, unprompted before. When guys get hurt, guys are rehabbing, guys are being evaluated for injuries. There just seems to be something with the Yankees medical staff that doesn't seem to click. And I'm not pinning this on the Yankees medical staff in this particular instance, but it is, there's something to be said for the fact that it took, correct me if I'm wrong here, it took Judge's grimacing on Yes Network on the broadcast to be seen for this to come to light that, there could potentially be something a little more serious here.
Days later.
Is this a lack of communication? Is this medical malpractice? Like, what is happening? I feel like the Yankees, for some reason, just cannot figure out how to, with the resources that going back to our conversation earlier about, being a big league team and having the environment and the resources.
Yeah.
The Yankees are not hurting for any of those things, but yet they can't seem to, handle these things efficiently. What's happening?
I have no idea. I really don't. I really, really don't. Kick me when I'm down, though. This team has sucked recently. And I would say recently it's been like 6 weeks of sucking. This hurts, man. I am thankful that it's just a flexor strain. I'm thankful that, there's no TJ that's required. Because that would have really did me in pretty good. I would have been in a dark place. But like, I don't understand. They have had like a lot of elbow injuries to position players, which is strange. I don't know. As far as the delay goes, there's probably a little bit of a tough it out mentality. Judge it's a former football guy and just being like, no, like we're good. I'm gonna tough it out. I'm fine. And then it's also like obviously this team needs me more than most teams need people. I got to stick it out. I got to play through it. And I'm not going to blame the delay on the medical staff or the team, but I don't know, man. It's really, really, really hard to say. I don't know where I'm at with this. Sounds like you're going to see Stanton in right field for the next week and a half, on and off, because didn't used to be, which sucks. You go back to Stanton in a Marlins uniform, bro was lighting it up in right field.
I mean, sadly,
come over to the
Nate,
Yankees, and
that's
it's just-
lifetimes ago at this point.
That's what they do. That's just kind of what they do. I don't know. He's going to have to DH for a while. I'm glad that it's a 10-day, not a 15-day. That makes me feel there's barely any silver linings in this, but I'm trying to find them where I can. I'm trying.
Talking about silver linings, let's close the book here. Silver lining for the A's broadcast that, you know, we've got a little bit of a sense of humor, you know, given what happened. What last night was it? Did we figure out? I can't remember. Was it last night, the night before? The broadcast call on a Lawrence Butler home run. I'm hoping this works. Let's hope that this works. Let me play this clip for you.
1-2 pitch. High in the air, deep to right. That ball is foul. Or gone.
That ball was absolutely launched. Law Dog posing him up at the dish. He knew it off the bat. It was just a matter of how far. He knew he got it.
That's crazy.
Just leaving Dallas Braden hanging. Just say, hey,
Our
I'm
guy-
gonna need you to salvage this because I have nothing left to say.
Our
That's
guy-
terrible.
No, but I mean, going back to the silver lining here, you know, it was Chris Carey. He came out with a tweet, apologized after the game. He said, "Totally lost it in the lights. No excuses. Unfair to Butler and our fans that I messed it up as badly as I did. This is completely and totally on me. Wish I could have it back, but that's baseball. I apologize. We'll be better tomorrow." Silver lining for some accountability. You didn't have to, like, he really didn't come out. Like, it really is not that big of a deal. But
you don't even have to apologize.
no, like it, you know, it happens. But
it's a hard job, by the way. I don't think people give it enough credit. That's not an easy job.
Yeah.
But dang, call of the week. If we could give it a negative, I would give it a negative. I'll give it a 0.1 out of 10, strictly because of Dallas Braden somehow managing to salvage it, kind of, and then also saying it was a matter of how far. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, fair or foul was never in question, but it was just how far will it go? He knew it off the bat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but the fact that you just say foul or gone. Like, what, bro? You can't, there's no recovery there. Tough, man. 0.1 out of 10 for call of the week.
That's tough. Speaking of homers, Cal Raleigh reached the 40 homer mark last night. Huge benchmark for the Mariners catcher. I don't think I realize if we're gonna keep it a buck. I don't think I realized how closely Shohei was breathing down his neck. You know, I really thought this was like a Judge Raleigh kind of race, and then I think what it was that barrage that Shohei went on in the last week or two, where he had 5 and 10 games or something like that.
Yeah,
right? Or it was like 5 and 4 games or 5 and 6 games or something like that. So I think that's what really catapulted him back into the swing of things here. But Shohei just 2 behind Cal, but even still, Cal Raleigh first to 40, and he did that on July 26th. So 40 before August is crazy.
Yeah,
but we'll see how that shakes out. What do you know? You may have not know off the top of your head, but have you seen anything recently how that tracks to Judge's year?
I don't.
How
I haven't seen
compares?
like a comparison. I mean,
Not this year, obviously.
But like the 62 year, you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't seen anything to compare the two, but Yeah.
It's cool to see, man. I think I just hope he keeps going. Like the guy's a workhorse. Like he doesn't take games off. I think it's a good thing that they have Mitch Garver that can slide back there and catch, but like that doesn't happen a ton. And especially if you're making more offensive moves at the deadline, like that DH spot is going to need to clear up. He's just been insane. I hope he stays healthy. I hope being a catcher, he doesn't, suffer from any fatigue moving forward. Like I hope he keeps this thing rolling. It'd be sick, dude. Like you see a catcher pushing 60 by the end of the year. Like that's insane and super impressive.
This thought just randomly came to me. It's been some time, I feel like, since we've had a catcher hold the place of like a favorite player for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need the Cal Raleigh lore to continue because we need this guy. We need to see more and more kids walking around in 29.
Well, I mean, you saw with the interviews, before the home run derby, we were walking around the battery and asking questions, and a lot of kids, a lot of adults, you say Cal Raleigh, and we're in Braves territory, and there were some people saying Matty O, but I noticed some Southern accents thinking that Cal Raleigh was going to win it, and they predicted it correct. I like it, man. I really do. And it's not like, I mean, no disrespect, but it's not like he's Gary Sanchez behind the plate. He's also an above average catcher. You know what I mean? Like he's not just only an offensive production type kind of guy. Like he's doing it on both sides and doing it well. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Don't fade. Mariners, add a little more. Keep this team in the hunt. The AL's up for grabs. Stay hot. Get hot. Stay hot.
Speaking of being up for grabs, there were a lot of seats in Camden Yards up for grabs the other night. Did you see that?
I didn't.
When the Lightning rolled into town, we've had some, I don't know what it's like out west. We get crazy heat lightning out here. Well, yeah, I know that. But we get crazy heat lightning out here. And then we sprinkle in like some actual legitimate lightning, that is your classic lightning that you think of when you think of lightning. We get some bad summer storms out here on the East Coast. And apparently they got some the other night to the point to where they, unbeknownst to the umpires, I heard, had to clear out the lower bowl. And on the broadcast, they were talking about, they're like, no, you are not watching a replay of a game from 2020 because that's what it looked like, because they cleared out the lower bowl and they just kept playing.
Yeah.
And you had people wonder, like the umpires, like I said, they didn't know. You had people watching the game being like, what's happening? Why are there no fans in the seats? And if it's because of the weather, then why are the guys still out on the field playing baseball? So just a very bizarre situation that we hadn't seen in maybe ever, at least some time at the very least, but just very bizarre. And I thought it was worth noting because it looked very weird watching the game.
Yeah. That is weird. I mean, if you're a player, you're like, my life isn't as valuable.
Like, just because I'm not buying beers right now, like you got to protect them more than me. Yeah, just weird. What's not weird are these Hall of Fame weekend hats, by the way.
Yeah, you're a fan.
A huge fan, dude. Are you not a fan? Like, am I blowing this out of proportion? Like, I feel like these hats are sick.
Yeah, I like it.
Here, let me get these up. Let me get these up here. Let me get them up on the feed.
I kind of wish that there was.
I mean, look at these things, dude.
Kind of wish there was some tie into throwback unis to go with it.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it feels a little weird. Specifically, like I'm watching, Zach Wheeler on the bump right now for the Phillies, like the maroon old school Philly versus like the new like color of like a brighter red, and then even with like the Marlins, like they're still wearing their current unis with this. I don't know, but like just outside of that, I think they're solid. I think they're good. I'm looking at all of them right now.
I mean, I saw somebody throw out the comment. They're like, "Why didn't we get the Expos for the Nats?" And I'm like, I mean, the Expos hat obviously is iconic in baseball history, but any excuse I get to catch some more of that OG DC logo, I love that DC logo. By the way,
Do you really?
Yeah, maybe I'm like a little biased just being in the area and seeing it a lot more, but I thoroughly missed that in comparison. I mean, the curly W, like whatever. If they could replace the curly W with this, I'd be all in.
I mean, it was absolutely better than curly W. I know that much.
Pretty much anything they do is better than the curly W.
Yeah.
But yeah, these hats are just like
big fan of the old school Astros one. That's nice.
So I was told
It's
that a
huge.
couple of these are not actually legitimate. Like the Cardinals logo, and I had to do some digging around myself. Apparently the Cardinals one is made up. Cardinals
I don't remember
logo
that one at all.
Yeah, the Cardinals logo, and I checked the logo history, went back and looked, like going back to like freaking day one of the franchise. Did not see that logo. So somebody said that was just made up to give it a Hall of Fame look. The Astros, that hat in particular, I don't think was ever worn because I think it's a blend of like their current scheme, but then also the starburst kind of look to what they had during like the Bagwell days.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got the teams here in the mix that just didn't even bother trying to do anything different. There was like 6 or 7 of them that were just like, yeah, no, we're good. We'll just turn in our assignment early.
Yeah. There's a slight alteration to the NY for the Yanks. Where you
little
can see
thicker.
like, yeah, it's like a little thicker, and like the left side of the N is lower, which is a little more traditional. The Mets look the same. Kansas City looks the same, right? I don't think there's anything different there. The A's.
Nah.
The
A's.
Come on, Angels.
I think the A's are technically a throwback because that is the hat that I think they used to wear back like when the Kelly Greens were a mainstay. But I'll give that a pass.
What's the C? So I see the Cincinnati C. What's the C above them?
Cleveland.
Oh, I was like,
one's Cleveland, one's Cincinnati. Yeah,
that gives me like Chicago Bears vibes.
Yeah,
but then I saw the Cubs on the bottom left, and I'm like, all right. Shout out anyone watching on YouTube, by the way. This is where you're able to check this out while you're listening.
But
I recommend subscribing there.
Yeah, if you're listening, you can pull up the graphic and join along as we talk more about these. But I actually learned, shout out to our guy Eric. I learned that, hold on, let me just pull it up so I can confirm here. Learned that Disney, did you know that Disney owns the full rights to the winged angels scheme? You know what I'm talking about? Like the Tim Salmon,
like outfield, Angels in the outfield type.
Yeah, like the Tim Salmon days. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my, those were so good.
Apparently,
those were great.
And I'm putting this solely on him. So if I'm speaking out of turn here, like that's where we're going to pin on Eric. But
shout out Eric, OG listener,
big Angels guy. He told me that the Disney owns the rights to that, and that apparently the Angels won't buy the rights to it. So that I guess that's why they maybe couldn't incorporate it or something. I don't know, but very interesting.
Unis. Unbelievable.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, top tier for sure. But yeah, enough on those. But all in all, big fan on the touch of throwback, or the nod rather of throwback. Anytime you get a chance to see some of these classic logos and schemes, I'm down for any excuse to pump that in there. Lastly here, before we get out of here, just a quick reminder about tonight's Sunday night baseball stream. Once again, Nate will be leading the charge on teaching us how to keep book. Yeah, this is, I guess, our third iteration of this campaign. This, again, going back to the beginning, this was Nate's idea. He said, hey, what if this was in the off season, actually. He's like, what if this coming, 2025 season, we pick some Sunday night baseball streams, maybe once a month, and teach people how to keep book. I said, sounds like a great idea. And it's been a hit, dude. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing what we do for that. Like we get people hopping on there. I think we even get people on there that don't necessarily even listen to the podcast, which is fine. But I mean, I hope they eventually turn to the podcast at some point to listen to it or watch it. But like we get baseball fans on there that just want to learn how to keep book. And then we also get people on there that already know how to keep book, but they just want to hang out, catch a ball game on TV, hanging out with other baseball fans, chopping it up in the chat. Thoroughly enjoy it. And I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not feeding you guys a line. Genuinely enjoy it. And it's very fun. You learn a lot. I mean, this will be I said this is our third time doing it. So this will be my third.
You did one solo, didn't you? Didn't you do one solo recently? Or no?
No. You're saying just keeping score?
Yeah.
No, this will be our third time doing it. So this will be my third time keeping score. And I've been learning a lot. So definitely enjoy it.
Normalize it, man. Cause like, again, not go down this rabbit hole too much, but like the memorabilia shop that we were down in Atlanta, checking out some old school, you got an old school one behind you, but like, it's so neat. That idea. Cause like you have one that has Joe DiMaggio on it, and you have one that has Ted Williams on it. And it's like, what a cool, or was it Joe or was it his brother? I can't remember. Whatever.
You're saying the scorecard I have?
Yeah.
No, it's got Joe. It was like the
Yankees
Red Sox game from like 41. It's got like Williams, Door, DiMaggio. It's pretty cool.
That's sick. And like, it's just a normal guy that was probably obviously at the game. Maybe listening on the radio, but I doubt it. And, wearing a top hat and a suit and perfect handwriting. It's just like, there's a charm about it. And you never know, like when you're writing a game and you're keeping score, like you never know what's going to happen. What if it is a perfect game? What if it is a Nick Kurtz 4 home run game? And you're like, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to frame it, or it's going to end up in a memorabilia shop someday down the road. Like you never know. And I think that's what's fun about it. It kind of brings you back to the roots of what our game is. So it's a fun little thing to learn, and it's not hard. And it's, worst case scenario, come hang out. It'll be during Sunday Night Baseball tonight, and, have some dinner, bring the fam, teach your significant other how to do it, or teach your kids how to do it. And like, it's just cool. Just hang out. It's low key.
BYOB, bring your own book. If you don't have a book, maybe run out to I'm sure like Dick's Sporting Goods has them.
Big Five, if you're trying to, balling on a budget.
Big Five, is that a shop out there?
You don't have Big Fives out there?
We have Five Below.
No, Big Five is like specifically a sporting goods store.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, we don't have those out
Cheaper
here.
one.
Nice.
Cheaper than Dick's Sporting Goods.
Dick's Sporting Goods, Big
Modell's
Five.
back in the day. Is Modell still around?
Ooh, didn't they go under? I think they went bankrupt. Sadly.
Dang, it's tough. Same with
Gotta
Sports
go
Authority.
to Moe's.
Shout out Sports Authority.
Yeah.
What a jingle that was.
Gotta go to Modell's.
Yeah, that was nice. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a vibe. But anyway, bring your own book. If you want to learn, if you don't want to learn, you just want to hang out with us, bring your own food, I guess. Bring your dinner. And we'll hang out, watch some ball, keep some books. So that's all I got. Nate, you got anything else before we wrap this thing up?
We'll be on Thursday, not Wednesday this week. We're gonna be on. I think we're planning on doing it 5:30 Eastern, with the deadline being 6 o'clock Eastern. So we're gonna start it a little early to kind of get through some of the trades that are gonna happen this week, and then enough to carry us over post deadline to get some of those ones that kind of trickle in through media after the deadline passes. So just keep that, mark that down in your calendars. Again, Thursday, not Wednesday this week. Other than that, don't go chasing curveballs.
Love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.